Good evening and welcome to Rapid Pixel Racing GP2 round 17. We are at everyone's favourite rolling roadblock, Monaco. Whilst we wait for the lobby to actually load up properly, we'll just bring up the stand-ins. So currently Johnny Stokes has a 13-point lead over Moyland. Frenzy still holding on to third place, keeping them honest. Lister in fourth, Womax in fifth, Pedro in sixth, Evan in seventh, Vader in eighth, Hobo in ninth, Lulu in 10th, Ashwin in 11th, tied with Decky, Island Boy in 13th, Matty in 14th, Mrs. Carl in 15th, Zodak in 16th, Hepburn 17th, Scarito and Flea 18th and 19th, and Rocketman in 20th. So I see everyone is raring to go as we get track map and lap data up. Moyland wants to see carnage. I'm sure there will be a fair bit of carnage. Hopefully someone's going to tell me what the weather's going to be doing. Always helpful. Get that running. So who's first out on track? It is James Owl on first one into the hairpin. What's that? Let's bring you up. So James just making his way around through the swimming pool. Let's make sure that's muted. Yeah. So as James comes around the final corner now to start his first time lap. DRS closing as he comes to the braking point for Sandoval, now up the hill towards the casino. Trying to go for the NASCAR effect there, bouncing off the barrier. Not sure if he's picked up any damage from that. Doesn't appear to have at the moment. Certainly looks a lot faster on spectator view than it does driving this track. So coming through into the tunnel, ERS light flashing away, so I don't think he's pushing anymore. Cheers Ryan, so it's dry quali, possible rain during the race. That'll certainly make it interesting. It'll make it better from a handling perspective. So 57.5 for James through sector 2 as he's through the swimming pool. Now down to Raskas. Dives into the pits. So Ashwin starting his lap now. As Mrs. Cole does a 1 minute 15.1 to take provisional pole in this session. Lister immediately follows that with a 112.6. So 2.5 seconds faster there as we follow Ashwin down into the hairpin. Tightest corner on the F1 calendar. On that track that will still be on the calendar till 2025, although I'm fairly certain a lot of people wish it wasn't on the calendar anymore. So Al-Udifa's done a 17.9, taking him into third place, as Ashwin invalidates that one and clouts the barrier a couple of times there. Everything is right, so Ashwin would have done a 14.9, which would have been good enough for third, but did invalidate. Moyland hops up into second with a 13.5. Who else we got? Zodak was coming to start a lap. Everyone else on out laps. Decky is doing his out lap and will then be coming into the pits at the end of his out lap, as he has got a quali ban. Tactically running the inters as well. So once Decky retires in the pits, everyone will be through to Q2. So I only really need to set a time. I don't even think you need to set a time to go for an out lap, and that'll be enough to get you through into Q2. As we jump back to James as he starts his second attempt now. Up the hill towards the casino. Gets it round a lot better there, and yet that is Decky retiring in the pits. So 19.3 through sector 1 for James as he's coming down to the hairpin. Nicely round. Drops down the hill for the right-hander into the tunnel. Lister retiring in the pits, feeling safely through into Q2. That's James now through the chicane at the bottom of the hill from the tunnel. Through the swimming pool section, now into Raskas. Around the final corner, DRS open, keeping it tight to the line. A 1:13.5 from James takes him into second place. Al-Udifa going for another lap, or for an out lap. Johnny Stokes now into the hairpin. See how he's getting along. I think that's Zodak out. Yeah, Zodak's crashed out at this section. Yeah, you can see the skid mark where he's gone into the barrier there. Kick of oversteer for Johnny Stokes as he gets on the power out of the chicane. 53.3 through sector 2. Purple sector 2 for Johnny as we come through Raskas, now into the final corner. DRS open, sprint to the line, crosses the line, a 12.2 taking him into provisional pole and safely through into Q2. Is that Ashwin going to set a competitive time this time around? So 14.2 from Ashwin takes him up into 5th place. Al-Udifa opting to run the medium tyre for this session. I wonder how the handling's comparing for him compared to Monday. I know. Oh, a big spin for Al-Udifa through the swimming pool there, but manages to keep it out of the barrier. Sorry, Island Boy, I've only seen that message in the Discord. You've got it sorted now, which is good. So Hobo's still in the pits. Island Boy now coming through Raskas. So DRS open, run to the line. A 15.9 takes him into 8th place. Hobo on his outlap. Vader and Demon. Oh, Vader's just on his way out for his outlap now. Demon still sitting in the pits, as is Frenzy. Johnny Stokes retires in the pits. Here's Island Boy going for another run. Half a second up. Alu Difa improves, goes up into 8th place with a 15.7. So taking a couple of seconds out of his previous time there. Vumax currently sitting in 10th on a 16.7. Hobo now just through the casino. And now we'll drop down to the hairpin. Oh, stop yawning. Stop yawning. So Hobo now coming through the tunnel. Little ways to go till we see what his sector 2 time's like. Nicely through the chicane and the bottom of the hill. Brings it through the swimming pool. Completely misses sector 2 time. Around Raskas, DRS open on the run to the line, crosses the line with a 15.0 taking him into 9th place. Scotty up in 8th with a 14.8 on his way out for another outlap. Vader invalidated his current lap. Let's stay with Vader then as he starts his second attempt at a time lap. That was a 15.7 for Vader, so it would have been good for 11th place. Through Casino. And now the drop down. Hopped in to ride over the bump. As some of the other drivers doing as they do in real life and avoiding that bump. Nicely through the hairpin there. Now into the tunnel. Absolutely flat out and then hard on the brakes for the chicane. Gets that car around nicely. Bringing it round turn 12 into the swimming pool. Looks like carrying a lot of speed there. A little bit of contact with the wall, but doesn't appear to have picked up any damage there. The run to the line now, crosses the line on a 15.3, taking him into 11th place. So improved over his invalidated lap as well. Scotty improves there, takes over a second out of his time, 13.0, taking him up into 3rd place. Great lap from Scotty. Still waiting for Demon and Frenzy to exit the pits. You've got to do a lap at some point, Demon. Everyone is sitting in the pits. Oh, Ryan, that's unlucky, mate. Novell chicane. Front left clips the inside. Oh, they're on turning. Yeah, that's really unlucky, mate. So just waiting on the last few to retire. There goes Vader. So it's a Sky and Frenzy to retire now, unless Frenzy's going to go out very late and set a time. But we wait and see. Yeah, the Mercs are playing tactics, making everyone wait. They're probably still trying to change Bottas as well. They are properly waiting for the time to count out. Come on, Mercedes, retire. Got another 2 quali sessions to go yet. Followed by 39 fun-filled laps of a wet Monaco. It should make turn 1, lap 1 really interesting. Let me actually. Yeah, they look wicked. They look cool, Hobo. Oh, right. Do my job. Get the results. So at the end of that session, we are saying goodbye to Zodak and Frenzy. Decky, if you are listening, just retire at the start of Q2, please, because the game's put you through. So here we go, knockout stage now. Q2 getting ready to start. Who will be first out onto track this time around. Oh, my money's on the Red Bull. And as we go down the pit lane, there's the most useless animation you'll see on the Monaco track, being the safety car, because it never comes out. Our car's completely blocking the track and the safety car just does not come out in multiplayer lobbies. So James out first, followed by quite a few other drivers actually. Adley D for Moyland, Johnny Stokes, Ashwin, Island Boy, Lister, Hobo, everyone eager to get out and get a lap time set in this session. I'd say that looks like a big lockup, but I get a feeling it wasn't a big lockup. It's just the game giving that annoying audio glitch. How they've not fixed that lot yet, I'll never know. So as James rounds the final corner now, DRS open to start this lap. See what sort of pace he's got. Through Sandovo nicely, up the hill towards Casino now. So 19-1 through sector 1 for James there as he drops down into the hairpin. Oh, my screen's gone wrong. What are you doing? That one. So now through the tunnel. Braking right into the Novelle chicane. And the run round to turn 12. And into the swimming pool. Nicely through the swimming pool there. Now into Raskas. Gets the power down a little early, kicks the back end out but keeps it out of the barrier. Does a 112.7, taking him onto provisional pole. We've got a yellow flag. That's how Ludifer. It's unfortunate. He's lost it through the swimming pool section. Johnny Stokes jumping to provisional pole with a 12.4. Hobo just come in to finish his lap, does a 120.2. Lister almost identical time to his teammate there, a 12.7, taking him into second place. Ashwin on a 12.7 as well into fourth. Island Boy a 14.6. Currently sitting in 5th place. Rumax does a 15.1 to take him into 6th. Oh, for clipping one of the curbs, just threw his car off. Building confidence throughout Q1. First attempt in Q2 and it sends you into the wall. That is really unfortunate. So as we stay on board with Wumax, is he going for another lap? It's 8 tenths up on his current time, so definitely pushing through this one. Comes around. Raskas keeps it out of that wall. DRS open now down the start finish straight. Crosses the line, a 13.4 taking him up into 5th place. Good lap there from Womax. Scott is on his outlap, Mrs. Carl on an outlap, Moyland on an outlap. Let's stay on board with Mrs. Carl, see how she gets on for this first lap in the Q2 session. So through Sandoval, now up the hill towards Casino. A little wide on entry, but keeps it going. And then has to take the escape road. Manages to stay clear of Moyland, so doesn't cause anyone to be held up. So we'll jump on now with Moyland, see how he gets on as he's just coming through the tunnel, running on the hard tyre. Kick of oversteer on entry to the tunnel there, but held it well. Bloody audio glitch and spectator mode is so annoying. So 53.7 through sector 2 for Moyland. So he's through the swimming pool into Raskas now. Let's have a look at the detail. Everyone else, bar Hobo, on the soft tyre. Moyland crosses the line at 12.5. Just under a tenth off of Johnny Stokes' time, and on the hard tyre as well. That's a great time for Moyland. Hobo's time 14.7 was on the hard tyre as Scotty goes through on a 13.6, taking him into 7th place. If you want to be safely through to Q3, I think you're looking at needing a 113 flat. So we will be losing 4 drivers at the end of this session. Now Ludifer, unfortunately, having that retirement. Decky, who I'm guessing retired from the session earlier and has wandered away from his PlayStation. So we've got 2 more drivers to lose in this session. Who've we got on track? That's Vader. He's invalidated the current lap. I think that's Moreland just going into the pits. Scotty definitely not pushing on this current lap. Oh, big moment on the exit of the final corner there. It's going to cost him time as he starts another time lap. We'll see as he makes his way up the hill towards Casino how much time that's potentially cost him as he comes through to the end of sector 1. So only 11 thousandths even down on his previous best time. So it hasn't affected him too badly, that poor exit from the final corner. As he comes into the tunnel now. And down to the Novell chicane, gets the braking lovely, takes a lot of the sausage curb. .54.4 through sector 2, so 300ths up on his previous time. Has definitely got more pace in him, but opts to bail on that lap. Hobo now just starting his next flying lap on the softs this time around. Gets it through. Casino did have a bit of contact with the wall there on the right hand side. Doesn't look to have picked up any damage. Not deploying ERS, so I don't think he's on a push lap this time around. It's not invalidated. I wonder if that contact did give him a bit of wing damage and is just nursing it back towards the pits. Four tenths up through sector 2 though. The UK Demon has retired in the pits. Deck is retired in the pits. So there was an improvement there from Hobo, taking him up into 8th place. This is Carl 54.7 through sector 2. He just comes around the final corner now. It's a DRS open and the power down. Crosses the line with a 13.9, taking her up into 9th place. Pushing Kyle down into the knockout zone. Vader currently the driver at risk. Hobo improving again, half a second up through sector 1. So what can he find as he comes through to the end of sector 2? Contact with the barrier there, but 7 tenths up. Flying along here. And opts to hit the barrier on the way into the pits. So, and that is Island Boy Kyle on his way out for another outlap. Will we see Vader out for another run to try and cement his position into Q3? Mrs. Kyle and Hobo both setting exactly the same time there. Seen that a couple of times recently in the races. So at the moment, no movement from the pits from anyone else. So we'll stay with Island Boy as he makes his way round to the end of the lap. Set himself up. Let's go for another flying lap. So it starts his lap currently on a 14.6. Needs to find 4 tenths to knock Vader down into 11th. See how he's getting on as he comes through to the end of sector 1. So currently 300ths down on his time. He's hoped to find some improvement through the end of this lap as Vader and Hobo are on their way round for an outlap. Maybe cutting it fine on the time available as Island Boy has lost it on the entry to the tunnel and has picked up damage as well, so he's not going to improve on this lap. I don't think he's going to be able to improve on subsequent laps. Island Boy, you should not be cutting corners to get back to the pits, although it's not to gain an advantage because you're not going to be able to get repaired and get back out. Here's a tad on the naughty side. Vader and Hobo aren't going to make it round before the checkered flag drops. Don't need to actually. His Island Boy has been knocked out after that spin through the tunnel. And there we have confirmation. At the end of Q2 we'll be saying goodbye to Island Boy, Al Ludifer, UK Demon and Decky. Surprised not to see Demon out for a lap in qualifying. Possibly going into this race blind. UK Demon is one of our GP3 drivers. They race on Sunday night at 8 o'clock. They'll be doing this, they do the same calendar as GP1 and GP2, so they'll be at Monaco this weekend as well. Normally I have commentary for that provided by DXT James Al, Taito Nathan on Twitch. James isn't going to be the first out on track this time around. It looks like it's one of the Hasses, if not both Hasses. It is. Both Hass cars are straight out onto track. Hobo currently leading the way from teammate Ashwin, followed by, it looks like both Alpines. Yeah, both the Alpines are out. Johnny Stokes currently in an Alpine sandwich. Both Red Bulls out. Scotty on his way down the pit exit. So just Mrs. Cole and Womack remaining in the pits at the moment. So let's jump up to Hobo and follow him round. As he makes his way through the tunnel and down to the Novelle chicane. Trying to build the heat in those tyres. Maximum grip as he goes for the first time lap. Everyone jockeying for position now to get the best run on their time laps. Hobo with DRS open makes his way to the start finish line. A lovely line there through turn 1, through Sandovo, up the hill towards the casino. Much better line than the previous lap we watched. So a 19.2 for Hobo through sector 1. Drops down into the hairpin. Good line through there. See the Alpine behind as well as Ashwin's run deep and gone down the escape road. Hobo through the Novelle chicane. Invalidates on the exit there. So drop back Moylan next on track. 52.4 through sector 2 for Moylan, and a lucky bit of contact there that he didn't lose a wheel. Collecting the barrier on the inside of the swimming pool. Crosses the line, a 1:11.0 from Moyland, followed by Johnny Stokes with the 1:11.6, 6/10 difference there. James Howell sets a 13.1, taking him into third. Vader 14.1, putting him in fourth place. Scotty opting to bail on that lap. Hobo in the pits. Ashwin round on the run out of the Novelle chicane. So Ashwin's prediction of doing a K-Mag and picking up pole in the Haas has aged beautifully. So Mrs. Carl now coming round to finish her first time lap. Womax has popped into P5 with a 1:16. Make that P6 for Womax as Mrs. Carl goes up into fourth with a 13.5. Oh, stop yawning. Womax is improving on this lap though as he makes his way into the tunnel. Sorry. So through the Novell chicane. Now into Raskas. Completely missed his sector 2 time there as well. Gets the DRS open, run to the line. I'm expecting an improvement. A 13.1 from Womax, taking him up into fourth place. Just a 100th off of James Al's time in third place. Mrs. Cole back to the pits. Scotty on his outlap. Listed next to start their time lap, so we'll jump on board Lister as he makes his way through Sandovo, now up the hill towards the casino. Put 50 quid on red for us, Lister, while you go past. So drops down the hill, an 18.8 through sector 1. That's purple sector 1 for Lister. Makes his way around the hairpin, now drop down towards the tunnel. Nicely through the Nouvelle chicane. Past the abandoned tyre of Ashwin. 53.1 through sector 2 for Lister. Coming round now to Raskas. Through the final corner, DRS open. Taking the shortest run to the line, a 1:11.8, taking Lister into third place. So I believe Hobo's bailed. Scotty has invalidated his current lap. Connie Stokes coming round to start another attempt at taking that pole position. Carries so much speed through turn 1. It helps him all the way up the hill to the casino. An 18.7 for Johnny. Nearly 3/10 up on his previous time through sector 1. So that is a purple sector 1 for Johnny there. See how he does when he gets to the sector 2 checkpoint. Takes a lot of that sausage curb as well on the entry to the Nouvelle. 52.6. So 3/10 up again through sector 2. Just Raskas and the final corner to go now. It's on the power nicely. Sprint to the line, an 11.005. So good improvement there. Took 6/10 out of his time, taking him on to provisional pole. The 400th advantage over Moyland. James Howe improves into fourth with the 12.5. And has a moment on the exit of Sandoval. Picks up a bit of damage. I think that will scupper him on any attempt to go for a second run. Scotty and Hobo both on outlaps. Still yet to set a time in this session, so we'll stay with Hobo as he starts his attempt. Red Bull coming out of the pits there of Lister. Hobo managing to keep away, just looks rather close as they pass one another, but no ill effect. A 19.2 for Hobo through sector 1. That's half a second down on the time we saw from Johnny Stokes. So Hobo now through the end of sector 2 of 54.0. And another invalidation there, clipped the inside barrier. Doesn't look to have picked up damage, so should be able to go for another attempt. As he's going to have Lister right behind him, starting his next lap. That's Moyland on his way out of the pits. He should have time to get round and be the last car across the line, but he is going to have a bit of traffic in front of him. So as Lister clips the inside barrier on the exit from the chicane, second down on this lap, so he's got time, but he will need to push quite hard to get round before the checkered flag is out. Scotty's invalidated his current lap. Hobo trying again. Vader in front. That's Moyland in front. Oh, it must be Vader behind Lister then. So Moyland's got a nice clear track on in front of him as he goes on an attempt to try and claim back that provisional pole. See how he's doing through sector 1. He's a 10th up in sector 1 as that is the checkered flag out. So Lister currently sitting in 3rd on an 11.8, James out in 4th on a 12.5. Womack improves up to 4th on a 12.1. Who have we got left? Vader doesn't improve on that lap, so stays 8th at the minute on a 14.1. Scotty just round the final corner, getting the time on the board. It's a 16.4, which sees him into 9th place. So just Moyland to go now. Can he find anything to beat Johnny? Yes, he can. A 10.3 from Moyland to take pole position, unless Hobo has got an answer. No, Hobo stopped at the Novell chicane, keeping out of the way of those behind him, but everyone behind him is an AI, so just make your way back towards the pits, please, or cross the line to end the session quicker. A massive improvement from Moyland on that final lap. 7/10 advantage over Johnny Stokes. Lister in the Discord. Moyland, can we nerf you please? That's a joke. So there we have confirmation. Moylan takes the pole with a 110.3. Johnny Stokes in second on an 11.0. Lister picks up third with an 11.8. Womack's in fourth with a 12.1. James in fifth with a 12.5. Mrs. Cole starts in sixth place with a 13.5. Hobo in seventh on a 14.0. Vader in eighth on a 14.1. Only 400s between them. Scotty in ninth and Ashwin in 10th. So here we go. Possibly a wet race or wet part of the race. 39 laps of Monaco. Will be fun whilst we wait for them to do their strats. Let's just have a quick ganders. There's 109. Rain around lap 14 to 17, so that will make it interesting. So I expect to see most on mediums. Lister, Island Boy and Decky opt in for the softs. We've got rain around lap 14. Softs predicted to stop by lap 8 to 12. The tyre wear is high round here, so it's not out of the realms of possibility. If the rain does come early, those on the softs say got an advantage, but it's so difficult to pass round here. I really need to push to get that move done. Track position, very important. So everyone staying fairly tightly packed together on this formation lap. Waiting to see the spots of rain start now, just to throw them all off. So far, literally about to say everyone doing well to park in their boxes properly, and we lose 5 of them. But here we go for the start. I'll jump on board with Johnny Stokes. It's lights out and it's go, go, go. At some point, maybe in a minute. There we are. Nice delay on spectator view there. Lister making a move up the inside of Johnny Stokes into Sandovo, but Johnny defending that well. James coming under attack from Womack as well. It looks like everyone has made it through the first turn without any major incidents. Moyland now opening a bit of a gap over Johnny Stokes. Lister right on the back of Johnny. We've got a yellow flag. Have we got... Who's that? That's Scotty round on the hairpin, which has held up everyone from 11th place back, so we've got 2 defined packs at the moment now. Al Ludifer coming under attack from Zodak into the Novell chicane. Zodak looking to cut that inside corner a little bit more than you really should. Doesn't gain an advantage. So that should be okay. Probably almost definitely have picked up a warning there. So Decky in, not into the pits, it's Zodak into the pits. Is that for a wing change? Yes. Scotty into the pits as well. So Moyland out in front as an 8 tenths lead over Johnny. Lister's dropped back, almost 2 seconds back on Johnny Stokes now. He's had a moment during that first lap. He's got his teammate for company who's right on the back of him as they come down into the Novell chicane. James not looking to make an attack at the moment. Womax forming a bit of a train behind him in 5th. Got Mrs. Cole, Hobo, Ashwin and Vader all on the back of Womax. As Moyland takes the fastest lap, followed immediately by Johnny Stokes taking that off of him. Vader into the pits. No wing, just tyres. Doesn't look to have damage, but then no guaranteeing he hasn't actually got damage and they've just forgotten to change his wing. So James still right on the back of his teammate as they come down the hill towards the tunnel. Johnny Stokes holding on to Moyland. DRS this time around when they come to the start finish straight. Can he stay within the DRS range? And that's Island Boy out in the entry to the tunnel. If you're coming into the tunnel, be aware there is a stationary car at the entry to the tunnel. The yellow flags are waving. Everyone seems to be making it past the car without incident. That's it, the car's cleared off the track, so all green again, back to full racing speed. Would have expected a safety car, but yeah, it's Monaco. Why would you have a safety car? So back with this battle at the front. Johnny is holding on to the back of Moyland. Just can't find a way past at the moment as we've got another yellow flag at Sandovo. I think that's Decky's been into the wall. No, definitely been in a wall somewhere. Running with no wing at the moment. Is James going to go for a move into the Novell chicane? No. I think James is quite happy just to sit behind his teammate at the moment. And the rain is starting to fall. It didn't wait for lap 14. It's lap 4 and we have rain on track now. It's going to spice it up. We've lost Decky through the tunnel as well. Trying to make it back with no front wing. That's unfortunate. He's clipped the barrier through the tunnel. Please be careful, Scotty. Scotty makes it through with some weight saving on the front wing of that Mercedes of Scotty there. End plates are held on by magic. So Ashwin into the pits to have fitted the inters, jumping straight onto those. DRS is still enabled at the moment, so it's not that wet yet. There's Johnny Stokes maintains that gap to Moylan, not allowing him to disappear into the distance. Lister has dropped back nearly 7 seconds now on Johnny Stokes. Still has his teammate. No, that's James Howe. James has made it past Lister. And there's 7 seconds to find to Johnny Stokes out in front. Lister trying to hold on those soft tyres. Should have the better traction as they make their way up the hill. And does seem to be closing that gap down marginally. We've got a yellow flag through Sandovo. That's Hobo now missing a front wing. So Ludifer makes his way past up the hill towards the casino. Just take it steady, Hobo. Don't want to take a wheel off. You might want to, but don't do it. Last it out. So Moylan and Johnny still out in front. Moylan getting massive oversteer there. Is this a sign that it's time to come in and fit the Inter tyres? See what they decide to do. Another kick of oversteer for Moylan, but held it well, kept it out of the barrier. Opting to stay out. DRS is now disabled as the front pair go past the pits. This gives James and Lister the opportunity to dive in, get the Inters on. As Moylan's gone round at Sandovo, that's the third driver in as many laps to lose their wing into the barrier there. So Johnny Stokes now out in front and building an advantage. Lister has put the Inters on. Ludifer's been in for the Inters. Frenzy's in for the Inters. Hobo in for that new front wing and a set of Inters as well. So Johnny now with a 6 second lead over Moylan. Moylan will be struggling to keep that car on the track with no front wing. James Howe making his way past Moylan, so up into second place. But it's going to be how close is everyone going to be to Lister, who's been on that Inter tyre a little bit. Why have we lost Hobo? Hobo, why's your connection disc dropped? Let's invite you back. Hopefully you can get back in, Hobo, and not cause any issues with your AI car. So as Lister makes his way round Raskas now, that's Womack's diving in front. Where will James and Moylan come out in relation to Lister? So James just making his way out of the pit lane. Lister just gets in front on the run up towards Casino. So the undercut working well there. Obviously James was a bit snookered. He couldn't pit at the same time because he'd have lost too much time held waiting for Lister to be serviced. But the gap to Johnny Stokes is 7 seconds now. Moylan comes out of the pits into 4th place. He's got 4 seconds to find to catch up to James Howe. Ashwin sitting in 5th place with a 6 second gap ahead and a nearly 4 second gap behind. Mrs. Carl though under pressure from Ludifer, Frenzy and Womax as they make their way down towards the tunnel. Is Ludifer going to get brave on the brakes into the Novell chicane as Hobo rejoins the session, and we've lost Scotty. I think that's in the pits. That is, Scotty's retired in the pits. Ashwin picking up his first penalty of the race. This battle here for 6th place is our closest at the moment. The rain does look to be getting heavier as well. Is it going to be a case of rain to the end? Or is it going to throw up a dry end? As Hobo picks up a 5-second penalty for corner cutting, but his car is still on dry tyres. It is quite possible he just couldn't get the car stopped. Imagine we'll be seeing him come into the pits now to fit a set of inters as he does peel off into the pits. Johnny Stokes opened his advantage out in front over Lister. He's now got nearly a 9-second lead over Lister. James dropping back just outside the 1 second mark and then closes straight to within the 1 second mark. Moyland has caught right up to the back of James. Has James had contact somewhere because he's peeled off into the pits? Does look like there is an end plate missing. Is a wing change for James, which allows Ashwin through into 4th place, and we've just lost Al Ludifer at just before the pit entry. That's Al Ludifer out, which allows James to come out into 8th place. So he's dropped 4 places there. No, 5 places. And we've not seen much of Demon. Let's see how Demon's getting on. Give him a bit of screen time as he makes his way up towards Casino. It's got an 11-second gap in front of him, but is managing to control that car nicely. So Johnny is now 10 seconds up the road from Lister. Lister with Moyland right over the rear wing. That's Lister into the pit. So as Lister picked up damage as well. That is a wing for the Red Bull. The second Red Bull there. So Moyland now retakes 2nd place. He gets very squirrely coming out of Sandoval and up to the hill. Ashwin inherits 3rd place whilst Lister's serviced in the pits. Is Lister going to get out in front of his teammate though? Lister just making his way through the pit exit now. Gets to take the easier line. Gets on the power a little bit too soon. Womax is through. His teammate is right behind him. So they run into Casino. James getting a kick of oversteer there. And a little bit of contact with the wall. I can't see any damage on the front of James's wing. But not to say it's not picked up some damage in there. So lap 11, the gap between Moyland and Johnny Stokes out in front sits at 12 seconds. Is coming down slowly. Mrs. Cole currently in 4th place, has Frenzy right behind her as they make their way through the swimming pool. Is Frenzy going to go for a move into Sandoval? That helicopter angle was actually quite decent for once. So down the start finish straight. Mrs. Cole getting a better exit out of the corner there, opening the gap back to Frenzy. I'm starting to lose my voice and my phone is starting to die. Seriously. So Mrs. Cole defending well from Frenzy behind. Slowly starting to close up onto Ashwin as well. As So James has been into the pits again, so he must have picked up some damage when he had the contact with that barrier earlier on. So Vader currently sitting in 10th, right behind James. We've got his tyres up to temperature nicely, so can he challenge James as they make their way down towards the tunnel? Oh, stop yawning. So Lister on the back of Womax. Frenzy still holding on to the back of Mrs. Cole. Can Lister do anything into Sandoval? Try and find his way past Womax here. Closes the gap up, but can't find his way through. Hobo back into the pits. Currently running in 12th place with 13 laps in. Moyland seems to have stalled on his attack of Johnny Stokes as we had a yellow flag before the hairpin. Trying to work out who that would have been. Possibly Mrs. Carl involved there because they've lost 3 places to Frenzy, Womax and Lister. Lister still right on the back of Womax as they make their way down towards the swimming pool. So you're going to go for a move into Raskas. Yeah, this game's horrible, Hobo. This track's horrible. It's just... Oh, I was looking at the chat and completely missed Lister's overtake on Womax there. As Ashwin is out at the exit of Casino. Careful as you come through, is right on the exit. Yellow flags are out. Lister not able to avoid the stricken car of Ashwin there, so it's picked up major wing damage. That's going to drop Lister down the order somewhat. Everyone else, the car's cleared now. So that's driver number 5 out now. Moyland into the pits for a wing. So is he going to get out in front of Frenzy as Frenzy makes his way round Raskas through the final corner? This may well be very close. It's not even close. Frenzy is through as Moyland makes it through the pit exit. So Johnny Stokes' lead out in front is now 35 seconds as both Womax and Lister come into the pits. Lister for that front when Womax opting to go for the full wet tyre now. So have conditions progressed to the point where it is full wet tyres? If it is, then we may have to call for a red flag, because we know they can't drive in on full wets. So that allows Demon through into 4th place. James has gained place with Lister and Womax having to pit, so James is up into 5th. Mrs. Cole right behind Lister as Lister comes out of the pits. Vader just behind as well. Be looking to try and close down this gap. Mrs. Cole getting it very sideways there, but holds on to it well. Has dropped back somewhat from Lister. I think it is getting to the point where they may need the full wets. Mrs. Cole getting very sideways in the traction zones. See how they handle the Novell chicane. Managed to get the car stopped and turned nicely there. Zodak joining in on the back of this battle as well. Mrs. Cole, though, is dropping off the back of Lister. Lister starting to regain some of that ground on Rumax. I don't think it is quite ready for the full wet tyre. The Inters are looking faster at the moment. Claims is up into 4th place now. Or was he in 4th place? No, I think he was in 4th place. He's got a 30-second gap to find to Moyland. Moyland trying to close down Frenzy and retake that 2nd place. As Johnny Stokes, the comfortable lead out in front, is now starting to approach the back markers. So those in front are going to start seeing the blue flag. Going to hurt this battle for 8th place as Lister manages to get round the outside of Wumax on the exit of the tunnel. Gets the move done well before the Novell chicane. Mrs. Cole on the back of that battle is closing into Wumax as well at quite a rate. Gets the better traction out of the swimming pool. I think Wumax allowed that pass. Wumax is into the pit, so wet's just not working for him. Vader also into the pits. What's going on to Vader's? They're waiting with a wing, so that's another wing or a wing for Vader and opting for the full wet. Wumax going for a new set of wets as well. So Johnny's managed to lap the Alpha Tauri of Zodak. So next up for Johnny will be Mrs. Carl, who's trying to hold on to the back of Lister. Moyland though has caught up with Frenzy as they make their way up to the casino, and Wumax is out at the bottom of this straight, so pay attention, Frenzy and Moyland. There may be an abandoned car. There it is. It should be cleared before Hobo gets there. Yes, it will be. So then there were 10 left. So everyone running. If you make it to the end, only another 21 laps to go. You're all guaranteed points. Just 21 more laps. It feels like this race has gone on forever and we're not even at the halfway point. I think, we might just be at the halfway point now. So Moyland still not able to find a way past Frenzy. Even starting to drop back from Lister a little now. This is the only really close battle. Moyland is getting closer with every lap, but just can't find his way past. Frenzy defending the middle of the road and just not leaving Moyland any space to stick his nose. Rain definitely looking like it's getting heavier. Johnny now on, coming up to the back of Demon, so he's got past Mrs. Cole, and that's Johnny into the pits. And Lister's... What's happened to Lister? No, Lister's lost it into Sandoval, and then you've got Zodak and Mrs. Cole going side by side up the hill towards Casino. And now we're down to just 9 drivers left. So Vader back into the pits, going back onto the Inters. Oh look, there's the safety car. It is here. It just... Bert Mylander obviously doesn't want to get his shoes wet and walk out to the safety car. We've got a yellow flag through the tunnel. That's cleared. Moyland, in all the excitement, has dropped back some from Frenzy. Johnny Stokes still has a comfortable lead over Frenzy even after that guessing precautionary pit stop. Clocking on a nice fresh set of Inters, try and get those to the end of the race. Is that Vader with no front wing? Yes, it is. So Vader's in for another wing. Mrs. Cole into the pits for a wing. Demon opting to go onto the full wet tyre, as has James out. Rain is definitely getting heavier, but that excuse me. James looking to have quite poor traction there as he came out of the hairpin towards the tunnel. Stop yawning. Oh, Vader's gone for the full wet as well. So Hobo up into 8th place now with all these retirements. Mrs. Cole still sitting in 7th. Zodak in 6th. Demon in 5th. James out in 4th place. Moyland in 3rd. Frenzy opening that gap out now over Moyland, which is surprising. Frenzy's Inters 8 laps older than Moyland's, unless Moyland is carrying some sort of damage that's affecting the handling. Johnny Stokes back into the pits again, going for the full wet this time. Frenzy into the pits, full wets. Moyland coming into the pits. That's for the full wet and a wing. So James just coming round towards the tunnel. Not close enough to be able to take advantage of those in front having to pit. So Moreland comes out into 3rd place again. This time with a 6-second gap to Frenzy. Mrs. Cole has been passed by Zodak. Zodak on the full wet. Mrs. Cole the only driver still on the Inters at the moment. Mrs. Cole will be getting blue flags for... Yeah, it is Moylan behind Mrs. Cole. James has been back into the pits, currently in 4th place, but for another front wing. So, and on with a fresh set of full wets. So that's going to bring him out just in front of Demon as Demon makes his way round Sandoval. James is out just in front. manages to hold on to 4th place, but will be under pressure from Demon. So we've currently lost 7 drivers. We've got 9 still remaining. Johnny Stokes out in front. It's got a 12-second lead over Frenzy in 2nd. Moyland in 3rd. James Owl in 4th. Demon in 5th. Zodak in 6th. Mrs. Carl in 7th. And dropping back on those inters. Really needs to come in for the full wet tyre. Vader currently sitting in 8th, but Hobo just behind Vader, currently in 9th place. Can he close the gap and find a way past? Oh, I wish I could stop yawning. So we are on lap 23, just another 16 to go. Hobo is closing that gap down to Vader though. On similar age tyres as they make their way through the tunnel. Hobo looking down the inside. Not quite close enough to get alongside Vader there, but looks to have had a better exit out of the Novell chicane. This is allowed him past Vader. Vader now drops down into 9th place. Hobo up into 8th. Can he hold on for the rest of the race? So Johnny Stokes still out in front. Frenzy. Oh. It's starting to close that gap down though. Gap now down to 11 seconds. Moyland slowly closing in on Frenzy as well. And that's James back into the pits from 4th place. That's another front wing for James. So that promotes Demon up into 4th. James comes out and will be safely in front of Zodak. Now it's all getting a bit confusing because the gaps are so different. So Hobo's managed to make his way past Mrs. Carl, who's struggling to hold off Vader. Is Mrs. Cole going to come into the pits and admit defeat and fit a set of full wets? Trying to see, has Vader lost? It does look like Vader's lost his front wing as well. So Mrs. Cole peels off into the pits, followed by Vader. So this is going to help Hobo extend that lead over Mrs. Cole. That is really going to be our only bout at the minute. Frenzy now got that gap down to 9.5 seconds to Johnny. I have a feeling Johnny is just pacing himself around this track in these conditions. So Vader's out of the pits, Mrs. Carl out of the pits. Gap between them is 7.5 seconds now. So Mrs. Carl has gained quite an advantage during that pit stop. And then Mrs. Carl didn't have to have a wing change, so that's where Vader would have lost that time. stick on board with Frenzy, give him better coverage as it opts to go to a rear facing camera when there's no one behind him. There we go. Bit of off-board shot. So we've got a yellow flag ahead, that's cleared. That would have been for Johnny making his way past. Making his way past Demon. Frenzy is closing in. He's got that gap down to 8 seconds now, and Moyland is bringing the gap between himself and Frenzy down as well. So could be a battle on the cards in about 3 laps time. Vader's starting to close into it. Vader starting to close into Mrs. Carl as well. Taking a couple of seconds out of their time. Try and reach for a beverage. And notice that the fridge was still open. No wonder it was feeling cold in here. Moyland bringing that time down. It's now under 3 seconds. Gap to Frenzy as Mrs. Carl is into the pits. With the exception of Hobo and Johnny Stokes, every dot on the track map is a shade of blue of some description. Blue to match the wet tyres. That's not going to help you closing that gap down, Moyland. Getting on the power and having a little slide and tap into the barrier. Doesn't look like you've picked any damage up, but it's highly probable you are carrying some wing damage there. UK Demon in 4th place, just ahead of Frenzy there, keeping out of the way to allow the leading cars through. So Frenzy definitely gaining on Johnny Stokes. Likewise, Moyland closing in. How long is it going to be? We've got 10 laps to go. Can Frenzy close right in and challenge Johnny Stokes for the lead? Can Moyland find any more pace to close this gap down any quicker to Frenzy and try and take the battle to Johnny Stokes? So it's that Vader just in front of Frenzy. Pulls to the side to allow the lapped car or lapping car through. Will he do the same for his teammate as they come through the Novell chicane? He does. Pulls to the side, nicely out of the way, allows his teammate to continue that pursuit of Frenzy. has unfortunately cost Moyland a couple of tenths during that phase of passing his teammate. Allowing Frenzy a bit of extra breathing space. How's Hobo getting on? As he makes his way through the tunnel, back out into the rain. And the pack being so separated, this got to be a mind-numbingly, soul-destroying, boring race. A 30-second gap ahead of him. A 30-second gap behind him as well. He's in a proper no man's land. Moyland dropped back quite a way off of Frenzy now. That gap opened up to 5 seconds. Hopefully Moyland's not picked up damage again. Frenzy though still on the pursuit of Connie Stokes as we've lost another drive. As Mrs. Cole through the tunnel by the looks of it. Who's going to be the first on scene? That's Hobo, but the car's been cleared, and then we are down to 8 drivers now. Eight laps to go, 8 drivers out so far. It is all about trying to hang on now. Get to the end and pick up those points. Moyland been back into the pits and opted to go on to a set of inters. He's got nothing to lose really. Has he had a wing? All those front wings. Yes, Moyland's had a wing. Or another wing. As Connie Stokes into the pits to fit a set of inters, trying to defend from that challenge that could be coming from Moyland, which has allowed Frenzy through into the lead. Can Frenzy hold on the full wets? Or is he going to have to come into the pits as well? The rain's definitely getting lighter. Is it going to dry up enough to go straight on to the slick tyres? This could spice stuff up. So Demon into the pits as well for a set of inters. Gap between Johnny and Moyland now sits at 15 seconds. Can Moyland do anything to close that gap down? Is Frenzy going to stay out, or is he going to follow suit and opt to go on to the inters? Really not comfortable. Frenzy opting to stay out. He's got a 17-second lead over Johnny Stokes at the moment, as Moyland picks up a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. See, he's just making his way through the swimming pool. We have 6 laps to go. We've got 8 drivers still going. Frenzy currently out in front on the full wet tyre and opening that gap to Johnny Stokes. But is that because Johnny is making his way through traffic? So it's clear air in front of Johnny Stokes now. Moyland currently in third. James out in fourth, having just been lapped by Johnny Stokes. Demon in fifth. Zodak in sixth. Hobo in eighth. Hobo in seventh. Craig in eighth place. So that gap between Frenzy and Johnny out in front now at nearly 20 seconds. Don't think the intergamble's working. Frenzy's just able to keep his full wets cool enough. And that rain does look heavier now. It definitely looked lighter earlier on when they were coming in for the inters. Johnny getting a snap of oversteer on the exit from the final corner there, which allows James Owl through to unlap himself. But he will be getting the blue flags again any moment, unless he can open that gap. James still on the full wets as well. Obviously we don't get a timing gap when it's a lapped car. It does look like the blue flag being shown as Johnny gets it very sideways on the exit of turn 8. Gives James the chance to open that gap a bit more. Moyland slowly closing in on the back of this battle as well. Currently 9 seconds behind, 5 laps to go. Not sure if he's going to be able to close the gap that much in the time remaining. Frenzy now just cruising through the casino and down towards the hairpin. James Howe open that gap back to Johnny Stokes. Demon still holding on those inters. Got a 22-second gap to James Owl ahead. Zodak starting to close down. 2.5-second gap between 5th and 6th. As that then jumps up to 3 seconds. So that makes his way around the hairpin. Hobo still running in 7th place. Vader picking up 8th at the moment. Got 3 laps to go. Johnny is not closing in at all on Frenzy. Frenzy opening that gap out lap after lap. Moyland's getting closer, the gap down now to 7 seconds. But with only 3 laps to go. It's not going to be close enough. Vader keeping clear out of the way of his teammate as he is still in pursuit of Johnny Stokes. Oh, my head is banging. So where are we? We're at Monaco. We're on lap 36 of 39. Frenzy is out in front. Connie Stokes starting to lose time. Not say starting, he's been losing time ever since he fitted those inters. But Moyland seems to be handling these inters a lot better than Johnny. Is able to close down a couple of tenths a lap. Evening, David. Welcome to the chat just at the end of the race. So Moyland's got that gap down to 6 seconds now. 2 laps to go. Unless Johnny makes a big mistake, Moyland's not going to catch. James still making his way round in 4th place. Johnny not even closing that gap down to James at the minute. Yellow flags, no, cleared. So Demon making his way through the hairpin. Sort of holding that gap to James out. So he's doing alright on the inters. Got a good gap over Zodak behind. Hobo still running, still in 7th. Keeping all the wheels on, which is the main thing. Vader's going to pick up 8th. We're on lap 38. Frenzy is coming round the hairpin for the penultimate time. Should be an easy victory here for Frenzy. Such a margin to 2nd place, he doesn't even need to push. Let's take it steady around these final lap and a half. So I am really hopeful that next week's race, when we will be at Spa, will it'll have more racing. Everyone hopefully will be able to keep closer gaps. Since this rain's come, this race has it's just become a race of attrition. Who can survive? So, on the final lap, Moyland's got the gap down to Johnny Stokes. It's down to 2 seconds now. Is Johnny carrying damage? Doesn't look like it. Oh, Moyland might have an opportunity here. Oh, no, he's got a penalty. We might have an opportunity to get the pass done and take 2nd place on track. Johnny Stokes looking really struggling on these inters. He's lost 15 seconds to Frenzy in the lead, and Moyland's managed to close in nearly 15 seconds. Johnny, I think you should have stuck with your full wets. Here we go then, into the tunnel for the final time. This pair, as Frenzy is going to come round and take the victory. Moyland now less than a second back from Johnny. He's got one opportunity to get the move done as they make their way through the swimming pool. Is he going to stick it up the inside? No, he's going to get a little bit too greedy on the power there through Raskas. So Johnny will hold on to take second place. Moylan very nearly wiped himself out, and now he's making his AI do a 15-point turn. So Moylan picks up third. James Al will take fourth place. UK Demon will come across the line to collect fifth place. Zodak, without that front wing, will pick up sixth. Although I'm sure Hobo would have liked to have taken that off of Zodak. So Hobo picks up seventh. Vader will take eighth. Yeah, to be fair, the second time tonight I'm agreeing with the game. Driver of the day, Frenzy. Held on to the tyres. Held on to the car. You can tell it's Monaco when you look and see multiple drivers on 5, 6, 7 pit stops. But confirmation of your result. Frenzy takes the win. Johnny Stokes picks up second. Moyland in third. James Owl in fourth. Demon takes fifth. Zodak gets sixth. Hobo takes seventh. Vader takes eighth. And our non-finishers this week: Deep Breath, Mrs. Carl, Lister, Woomax, Ashwin, Ludifer, Scotty, Decky, and Island Boy. Oh, Hobo, that must have been when you disconnect. Why the game decided to pit you pit and put you on dries while you were disconnected? That's ludicrous. I've been DXC Rob Sim Racer. That has been Rapid Pixel Racing round 17 at Monaco. I'll be back Monday for live driver cam of Rapid Pixel Racing GP1 at Spa. DXC Hobo will be on comms, so check out his channel if you want to be entertained by a commentator that knows what they're doing. But if not, I will see you all next week. Take it easy.